So Van Jones gives a speech at the March for Israel. Yesterday, the day before the march, it was announced that Van would be one of the keynote speakers, along with Michael Rappaport and others. People like me on the left were surprised that Van Jones would be a part of this. Now, Van sometimes plays the middle on certain issues. He tries to bring both sides together. Not shocking, but on this issue, it was absolutely stunning to believe that Van Jones would show up to a march that explicitly said that it would be standing in solidarity with the state of Israel. Now, let's be clear. The march also said that they wanted to denounce anti-Semitism. Cool, you should do that. That they should call for the release of hostages. Cool, you should do that. That they should mourn the victims, those 1,400 people, those 1,400 Israelis who were killed on October 7th. Absolutely cool. We gotta do that. All three of them things are necessary. But showing up to a march in solidarity with an apartheid state, that is nasty work right there. So some people like me said, I can't believe you did it. We were criticizing, we were critiquing him from the beginning. Other people said, you know what? Let the brother have a chance to speak. Give the brother the opportunity to give the speech before you criticize the speech. You might get surprised. And I said, sure, maybe there's some secret mission, some Trojan horse, some radical like Kanye West, George W. Bush don't care about black people after Katrina moment he gonna pull off, maybe. Well, that didn't happen. He gave the speech, and let's just say the speech didn't go the way he wanted it to. First, he comes out with some applause. He gets some love. He does what a lot of people do. He talks about the civil rights movement. Listen to this.
The Jewish community stood with the civil rights movement. It stood with the civil rights movement. Walking arm in arm, facing death, going to jail. The Jewish community stood with the civil rights movement, and I cannot be silent when Jews fall under attack today. I just can't do it. And that's why I'm here.
So Van says that because Jewish people showed up for black Americans during the civil rights era, he now feels compelled to stand with them now. Let me be clear. There's nothing wrong with saying, look, we've been allies for over 100 years. You stood with us, we're going to stand with you. That's what partnership and solidarity looks like. I understand that impulse, and I ain't mad at it. I would say, though, that we should stand with Jewish people even if they didn't stand for civil rights. I don't stand with Jewish people because they did something for me. It's not transactional in my mind. I stand with Jewish people because standing with Jewish people is the right thing to do. We must fight anti-Semitism. I'm with you, Van. Here's the problem. You weren't just fighting anti-Semitism by going there. You were affirming the legitimacy of the state of Israel as an apartheid state, as a state that is committing genocide in Gaza right now, as a state that continues to illegally occupy the West Bank. That's what you're doing. You're giving legitimacy to something that is not legitimate at the level of international law or human rights. And you're supposed to be a human rights champion. You're supposed to be a warrior for justice. Some of y'all saying I might be reading too much into it. Oh yeah? Well, check this out, because this is the part that really gets interesting. Van Jones says, you know what? I am going to do my Van Jones thing, right? And I don't mean that with any disrespect. I know Van. I love Van. I just disagree with him on this. He's going to try to pull the sides together and say, look, we can all agree that we just want peace, right?
I'm a peace guy. I pray for peace. No more rockets from Gaza and no more bombs falling down on the people of Gaza. God protect the children. God protect children. Let's end all the horror and all the heartbreak in the Holy Land. Let's end all of it. Let's end all of it. But I'll be honest in closing. When I think about what's happening over there, I don't feel powerful to do something about what's happening over there. What I do feel powerful is to maybe do something about what's happening here. Let's take a stand here against anti-Jewish bigotry. Let's take a stand against Muslims. Let's take a stand here against hatred. Let's take a stand here against hatred of all kinds.
Wait a minute. What did Van say? Run that back.
Here against anti-Jewish bigotry. Let's take a stand against Muslims.
He said we have to stand against Muslims? Okay, I am sure that wasn't a Freudian slip. I'm sure that that wasn't intentional either. I am sure that he simply made a mistake. Van Jones does not hate Muslims. Van Jones would not stand up in front of a crowd and incite violence or hatred against Muslims. He simply misspoke. So don't drag him for that. There's a lot of stuff to criticize Van for. That ain't one of them. He was getting shouted down by the crowd. He just got a little bit nervous. In fact, he sent a tweet saying exactly that. Check this out. My speech read, let's stand against anti-Jewish bigotry here. Let's stand against anti-Muslim bigotry here. Let's stand against hate here. But the chanting crowd threw me off and I misspoke. We need to stand with Muslims and Jews and everyone who is under threat. So again, we ain't mad at you for that, Van. We'll give you a pass on that. But the rest of this...
No more rockets from Gaza and no more bombs falling down on the people of Gaza. God protect the children. God protect children. Let's end all the horror and all the heartbreak in the Holy Land. Let's end all of it. Let's end all of it.
A simple enough statement. No rockets into Israel, no bombs into Gaza. I want peace. I'm just a peace guy. That's what he says. Well, if you notice, the crowd didn't love that. He didn't get the expected Martin Luther King applause there. He heard grumbling and growls. And then it turned into full-fledged chants of no ceasefire, no ceasefire. And this, Van Jones, is the problem, my dear brother. You can't go trying to play both ends against the middle. This rally was not just for justice. This wasn't just for commemoration. This wasn't just for mourning. This was affirming the right of Israel to continue to wage war in Gaza by saying we stand in solidarity with what they're doing. We're not going to call for a ceasefire. We're not going to call for even a humanitarian pause. No, we're going to simply affirm Israel's right to do what it's doing in Gaza. And guess what? If you think I'm wrong, listen to that crowd. Because the moment you said peace on both sides, no violence on either side, let's let all the babies live, which is what I believe, let all the babies, Jewish, Muslim, Christian, Palestinian, Israeli, they all should live in peace. They should all be safe. They should all be protected. They should all have self-determination. That's what we should want. And that's what you asked for, Van. But guess what? You showed up to a rally that wasn't about that. This rally wasn't about peace. This rally was about affirming Israel as an apartheid state. And that is why your presence was dangerous and irresponsible. And you probably thought you could go there and do some good and just speak out for peace and keep that side happy, but not say anything too hawkish and keep the pro-Palestinian people back in your camp. Didn't work that way. Because when you spoke out and said, look, let's have peace and justice for both sides, they damn near booed you off the stage. The kids got an expression. You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. That booing, that embarrassment, that frustration you felt, that was the prize. I hope there's a lesson to be learned in that.